Whatever you want to start in. So whether you want to be in child's pose, lay down, down dog, just something that feels good for you to start. We'll eventually come back together in a seat just to do a little bit around the neck and the shoulders, but feel free to start wherever you want to at the moment. And just letting yourself start to settle into the breath. And if at any point you'd rather not have your camera on or anything like that, it's totally okay with me either way. And then just letting yourself kind of feel the settling into the earth. You know, we're hitting the end of the year, so hopefully some time of transition and transformation. And so my intent with us moving a little bit more this morning, meaning in a little bit more of a fiery way. You can still always take any variations or modifications that suit you better, but to help kind of shake off some of the stagnant energy, bring in some energy from the cold, the physical cold outside, but then maybe the darkness of the time of year that comes along with it too. And I left Tank upstairs because I plan on jumping around a little bit more, and I didn't want to take the chance of kicking him if he couldn't see me, so. And Steve is because my dog recently went blind, but he's fine. But from here, just however it feels right for you, start to find some lengthening out in your side waist. So maybe it's depending on the position you're in, child's pose, walking your hands off to one side of the mat. If you're seated, stretching up and over. If you're laying on your back, maybe it's a twist. Just something, anything at all that lengthens out through your side waist. And then give yourself a moment to come back through the center, and when you feel ready to do so, just shift up and over to the opposite side. And really just let it be organic. Don't worry about what it looks like. And then come back around to the first side, and then maybe see if you need a little more space, meaning if you want to walk it out a little bit longer or deeper, or take an extra big breath into that space. And then eventually, again, shifting to the opposite side, but taking your time if you need a moment to pause in between or to reset, and just letting yourself just open up wide. And then let yourself come back to the center, and then just gently shift towards a seat, and whether that's rolling to one side or rolling straight up, whatever feels good for you. And then when you get there, just let your chin drop in towards your chest. And then just let your ear roll towards one shoulder, and then through center, and then to the other. So just letting your head kind of rock back and forth, side to side. Go nice and slow though, not intending it to be quick. And then if you kind of find a spot, like I know for me this morning, it's letting myself drop my ear towards my left shoulder that kind of has a little more tension. Pause on the side that you'd like to kind of take a couple extra breaths on. Soften your jaw. If you'd like, you might reach the opposite hand out. So meaning if your head's dropping left, reach out through the right hand. Just giving a little bit more sensation through the scalenes, through the muscles in your neck. And then you can let the hand just relax to your lap or down to the ground, and let your chin drop back into the center. And then just start to shift up and over the other direction. And again, whether it's just kind of hanging out or if you're extending out through your fingertips, eyes can be opened or closed. Sometimes it even helps just to let your jaw soften, meaning opening your mouth just a little bit or a lot. And then let your head come back into the center once again. If you're in a cross-legged seat, just recross your legs just for balance in your hips, but if you're comfortable, just stay like you are. And then just take a twist over to one side. It doesn't really matter if it's left or right first, just letting yourself, and an easy twist, not really trying to wring out the belly yet. We'll get into deeper twisting as we go on. And then just come on through the center and give a twist the other direction. And then as you come on in through the center, take your hands, interlace your fingers, turn the palms away, and then just let your arms just reach up overhead. And if this feels too unsupported in your back, you can totally have your hands on the ground. But just letting yourself kind of stretch up, feel the pull through your shoulders, almost like you're trying to pull your hands apart, but you're not letting them come apart. And then just bring the arms out in front of you, round the spine like cat's breath. If you'd rather put your hands on your legs, go right ahead. And then you probably know which way your hands are interlaced because it's habit, but if you need to look at your hands for a moment. Unwind your arms, just open up the chest. And then bring the arms forward again, interlace the fingers, but try to do the opposite direction, which probably feels a little bit more awkward. Bring the arms back up overhead. You can kind of wiggle up and out of your side waist, sliding side to side. And then eventually let the arms come forward again, rounding your spine like cat's breath. And then when you're ready, you can open out the arms wide. You can even clasp the hands behind you or bring your hands to the mat behind you, opening up the chest. And then when you're ready to, just unwind, letting yourself start to unwind your feet. We're gonna come right up to standing at the top of the mat. So we're gonna actually use movement as kind of the warm up. So we'll still do some shoulder stretches and some other prep work in between, but we're gonna get into warming up the body first. So the first round, I'm gonna break it down a little bit more. So there's gonna be repetition. And then the second round and third round, it'll just be once. And you'll understand better what I mean in a second. Don't worry about if that makes sense or not. So take your feet wider and rather than feet close together, because we're gonna sink down towards a squat, towards Malasana. So either hands on your thighs, which is what I'm going to do, or you can reach your arms forward, but just let yourself kind of sink down like you're coming into Malasana. And then you can draw yourself back up. Sink back and make sure your back is nice and long. If you're not supporting your hands on your legs, coil back up. Then one more time, sink down, turn your toes out a little bit, however it's comfortable for your knees and your hips, and then just come on in towards a squat. You can have a little wiggle side to side. I'd say not to sit on a block right now because you're not going to stay that long. Then here, just exhale, hands down to the ground, just straighten your legs and forward fold. And be generous. You can bend your knees a lot, especially if your hamstrings are tight. I know from the cold weather, from the morning, I'm feeling pretty tight from sitting on the couch, but giving yourself a little space. Then inhale, just let yourself come on up towards a halfway lift. Now, instead of jumping to chaturanga, go right to down dog. I have my hands on blocks just because of my arthritis in my thumb, so that's not necessary unless you want to. And then when you come into down dog, just take a second this first time. Walk your legs out a little bit, bend one knee and then the other. You can unwind your spine, shake your head if you want to get a little bit more space there. And then in down dog, turn your toes out, your heels in. Bend your knees a decent amount, sit toward your heels. And then just lengthen your legs again. Bend the knees. And then just lengthen out your legs. Bend the knees. Now this time just look forward and you can just let yourself bring your feet back up towards your hands. So again, it's not a traditional namaskar, it's gonna be a little bit different. Bend the knees, come on into chair for a moment. Draw the arms up to the sky. And then just let the hands come into the heart as you stand tall. So here, we're still gonna have the repetition, but I'm gonna add in the hops, and then you'll see how it transforms a little bit more. So take your feet a little bit on the wider side again. Let yourself sink down towards that Malasana shape, towards that squat shape. Now, if you don't want to jump, all you're going to do is put your hands down and just bend and straighten your legs a couple times. If you want to jump, bring your hands so they're under their shoulders, just gaze forward and just take a little hop like you're gonna tap your feet together. And then lift the hips again, little hop. And then one more time, third one, just give yourself a little hop, drop the feet. And then here, ground your hands, lift your hips, just step back, go right into down dog. Now here, turn your toes out, your heels in. And again, either just bend and straighten your legs again, or bend, look forward, take a little hop. You're not trying to jump to your hands. Take a little hop. If you feel it, one more time, little hop. Now take a moment in down dog. Now it's gonna be different when we come forward. Is you're gonna bring your legs all the way together. And it's gonna be more like you're trying to jump right into chair. So it's like you do a little chair upside down, then feet between your hands. So bend the knees, look forward, take a little hop, feet up, land the feet, and then come on into chair. Excellent. You all get 10 points for the landing. And then draw yourself all the way up to the center. So now here, we're gonna just do one hop, one hop, one hop. So it's gonna start to get a little bit more cardio. Don't be afraid to slow down if you want to. Take your feet a little bit on the wider side, so like the squat. Sink down, arms can be wherever they're comfortable for you. Hands down, take a little hop where you are. Good, step back to down dog. Turn your toes out, your heels in. Bend the knees a lot. Not trying to jump to your hands yet, jumping in place. Take a little hop. Excuse me. Then bring your legs all the way together. Sorry, like you're gonna land in chair. And then hop, and then chair. Draw the arms up. Taking a sip of water, excuse me. And come all the way up to stand. And then hands into your heart. Now, I'm gonna add in jumping to chaturanga. If you don't want to, you can totally go to down dog and hang out. So bend your knees, squatting down, sink in. Hands down, hop in place first. So take a little hop in place. Good, and then if you want, hop to chaturanga. Then up dog or cobra if you're feeling it. And then up and back, downward facing dog. Then toes out, heels in, gaze forward. Take a little hop, and yes, you can start getting more enthusiastic about handstands if you're a handstander. Now look forward, legs together, hop, land in chair. Draw the arms up. All the way, hands to heart center. One more time like this, then we're gonna add in more stuff. So feet a little wider, malasana, sink in. Now, if you'd like, hop, land in crow, or crow, hop to chaturanga, or any combination of the above. So meaning, if you want to take a little hop, tap your feet, you could go right to crow. I can't, but you could. And then come to crow, squeezing your legs, and then when you're ready, chaturanga. Upward facing, or maybe it's cobra, and then all the way up and back, downward facing dog. Now when you're doing this hop, if you want to, you could take your legs a little wider, like you're doing frog and handstand, but that's up to you. Take a little hop, and then look forward, step or hop, right into chair, and then draw the arms up high. Now here we're gonna add a twist. So just twist to the right. Honestly, it doesn't matter which way you go. Come on into the center, twist to the left, come on into the center, twist to the right, and this time stay. So you can stay high and open. Maybe you wanna connect your left arm to the right leg, or even the tricep, elbow. Just give yourself a moment to pause. We'll come back here again, so don't worry about this being your deepest twist. And then come on into the center. Arms can reach up to the sky, or if you need a moment, just stand tall. And then letting yourself twist over to the left. Again, at first, you might stay high. And then if you'd like, sink into whatever degree feels good for you. You might feel one side's better than the other. I know for me, unfortunately, I'm feeling my breakfast, so I'm not gonna twist super deep, but be nice to yourself. Now come on into the center, and then here, separate the feet enough, you can sink down towards your malasana and just pause for a sec. Here, if you wanna sit on a block for a moment, we'll be here a couple of beats. Take the back of your hands together just to stretch your wrists out a little bit. You can either kind of let yourself sit into the squat, for those of you who are kind of mobile here. If you want it to be more work, just lift your bum a little bit so you have to kind of support yourself. And then anytime the hops don't interest you, just feel free to take them out. Hands come down to the earth. Now you can hop if you want to, come right into crow, crow chaturanga, or all of it or none of it. We'll meet in down dog. So as you shift forward, if you want to squeeze the legs, picking up the feet, a couple of you I know like to drop the headstand. You're welcome to if you're in the mood. And don't be afraid to keep it super casual if you're not in the mood. And then any transitions to find your way to down dog. So whether the push-up is appealing, if you want to come through up dog or cobra, or just let yourself go right to where you want to be. And then when your inhale comes, take the right leg up to the sky, bend the knee, open the hip, and don't worry so much about alignment, just give yourself some space to open it up. And then pull the right knee into your belly, just step forward, coming into warrior one. Ground your left heel, and then just sweep the arms up. Now, let your arms press back, the heart comes forward. Inhale, sweep up to the sky. Arms press back, heart forward. Reach high. Now this time, let your arms come behind you. Clasp them behind the back if it's comfortable. For me, it's excruciating, so I prefer to use a band or a strap. You can use a towel, whatever happens to be nearby. And then just fold down, letting yourself bow to the inside of your right leg. You don't even have to have the hands clash. You can let them sweep to the sky, or you can just let them come down to the mat on the inside of your foot if you feel like you want some space. And have a little wiggle from side to side. I almost fell over. And then here, let your hands come on down. Shift towards the left and bend your back knee, the left knee. So you're facing the long edge of your mat. And then just come on up and over, bend the right knee. Now come on into the center so you're in a wide straddle. But instead of letting your feet go super wide, keep them kind of close, and then hands are right up underneath your shoulders. If you can't reach your hands to the ground, you can always use blocks. And then come up onto your tippy toes, feel the scoop through your belly, and then ground your heels. You can even bend your knees if you feel like you want to. And then inhale, come up onto the tippy toes like someone was holding you up from the waistband of your pants, and then sink in. One more time, way up onto the tippy toes. See if you can feel that engagement through your belly. Push the floor away, and then just drop your heels. Take a sneaky peek over your right shoulder, that's the front of the mat. Turn back around to the front, lower down your left shin, and then just lengthen your right leg into half split. And just take a second here, just to flex and point your foot, or drop the toes side to side. You know, really any movement that's just gonna help you start to wake up your hamstring. I know for me personally, with the colder weather, I can feel my hamstrings a lot more than normal because they're usually relatively flexible. So here's where you have to kind of be more careful, especially if it's not feeling the way it normally does for you. And then when you feel ready, bend into the right knee and just think lizard. So you can stay up high, you can drop yourself in. I usually like to wiggle the left foot back a little bit so I'm not on top of my kneecap. You can bend the back leg. You can even reach back for the foot. Right now, all I want you to think about is creating some space. We'll get into deeper things to do within the movement the second time through. Right now, it's just kind of waking things up. Now, when we go back, and Stephen, I know we haven't practiced together as much, and the other ladies have practiced with me before, so they kind of have an idea of what might be coming. When we go back to down dog with the right leg in the air, you're going to have the option to go knee to the belly, hop, and then on the third one, we'll take you to chaturanga. If you want to jump to chaturanga, just make sure the left foot hits first, meaning the leg that's closest to the ground. So if anybody wants to watch first, you're welcome to. So grounding your hands down, down dog, just sweeping the right leg up to the sky. Knee comes into your belly. Take it to the sky, hopping or not. Knee to the belly. Sky, hop or not. Knee to the belly. Remember, left foot first if you jump to chaturanga. Let yourself come back and sink in. Inhale, upward facing. Good. And then exhale, downward facing. Good, yes. Watch those feet. They're so used to you. That's the whole thing. That's the trick. And then up and back, downward facing dog. It just hurts your toes to switch your feet. That's all. So here, when you're ready, inhale, left leg up to the sky. Step the left foot forward, warrior one. Ground the right heel. I'm grabbing my little strap. So for now, just take your arms up. Sweep them back. Inhale, draw high. Sorry if you can hear me panting into the microphone. I seriously need to start doing cardio. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, take your arms back. Then again, maybe you're holding on to a towel, strap, whatever's convenient. Clasp the hands, and then sink in. And it's really just a chance to rinse the shoulders a little bit while you're starting to get deeper into the hips. So you can always bring your hands down to the ground. Give a slow shake out of your head. Soften your jaw. And then when you feel ready, you can let the arms come on down. You're going to turn towards the right, so just facing the long edge of your mat. Bend the right knee. Just make sure your toes are moving in direction with your knees. And then shift up and over, bend your left leg. And then come on into the center in the wide straddle again. Now, this time, take your feet a smidge closer together. Ground your hands right under your shoulders. Now, if you want to jump, take a tiny bend in your knees. And then don't try to jump straight up. Jump out and push out, like you're trying to push your feet away from each other. And then look forward, ground your hands, bend the knees a little bit. Little shoo. And I make that noise because it's like I always picture doing a crazy karate fight and knocking out people on both sides of you. So one more time if you want it. Little hop. Yay! It's fun to watch you guys hopping. And then look over your left shoulder. That's the front of the mat. Turn to the front. Lower the right shin. And then pull back, lengthening your left leg. Half split. Yeah, and take your time. You can be up on blocks. Your hands can be on hips. If you're feeling super open, feel free to have the back leg long. And you can take a couple times to flex and point your foot. I'm wearing my new Medusa pants my mom got me for Christmas. You're kind of badass, I have to say. Give yourself another breath or two. Now when you're ready, bend back in towards your left knee. Now lizard, so just letting yourself sink in. I personally like going lower to the mat, but you can stay high. I need to kind of squish my right leg back a little so I'm not on the kneecap. Maybe you want to bend the back leg, starting to open up the quad. Maybe you don't want to, but you should. Letting yourself have a little wiggle of your hips. Now again, if we're gonna jump to chaturanga, just think the leg in the air stays in the air. The leg on the ground is the first one to hit the ground. It's more like somebody came over and went swoop and knocked your foot out from underneath you. And that's just so you don't hurt your toes. It's not really a big deal if you switch your feet. It's just uncomfortable. So ground into your hands, press back, down dog, left leg to the sky. Now you don't have to jump. The jump's just extra. Knee to your belly, pull forward. Reach the sky, jump or not. And like this is my more confident leg, so just be aware of that if you have that too. Take a hop. Now if you jump to chaturanga, right toes touch first. So swoop it back, bend the elbows so you have some cushion. Inhale, lift. And then all the way up and back. Downward facing dog. Now, we're gonna jump forward to chair, but before we do, just know, first of all, you don't have to jump. What I want you to think about, and this is a little trick from my friend Raghunuth, who is one of my teachers, is think of chair upside down. So you might take a couple hops first, and then eventually hop right into chair. So use your fingertips like brakes, look forward, seal your legs, think heels to butt, hips over your shoulders. And then maybe heels to butt, hips over your shoulders. And then on the last one, feet between your hands, and then draw up. I certainly didn't stick the landing on that one, but you all did. Excellent. And then take a second, just stand tall. Let yourself just climb up and over to one side. And then the same on the other, just stretching out your sideways. If you'd like a moment in the middle, just let yourself kind of unwind your wrists. So we're gonna do a standing balance right now, but because we're gonna do this potentially upside down. So for the moment, take a leg into tree. It doesn't matter which one really. And just let yourself take a moment to pause. And your hands can be whatever feels grounding for you. I have a tendency to like to keep my hands at my heart or at my hips. You can certainly extend them overhead. Yeah, don't be afraid to hold on to something, or even if you want to use your toes on the ground. But notice the more you connect your foot to your thigh and your thigh back to your foot, because we have a tendency to kind of push too hard one direction. And then if you want to, and this will come in more relevant upside down, lengthen your tailbone. You can even bring a hand to your low back. And think about dialing your right knee open. So this is a hip opener. We tend to think of it as a standing balance, but it is a hip opener. You got it. Nice job, everybody. Now, just slowly unwind it however you like. You don't even have to be fancy. Maybe take a little walk out of your legs. So I went up a pant size, which is much more spacious, but I could basically pull them up to my chest. So letting yourself draw your leg up. Sorry, Stephen, I have a tendency to share a little too much when I'm teaching, so I apologize. Let yourself draw your left leg up into tree. Hands can be however is comfortable. Yeah, and again, feel free, grow tall if you want. Let yourself really feel the connection of your right foot into the earth, the left leg into your thigh, or whatever leg you have lifted, although we're all on the same side. So letting yourself kind of feel that press, lengthening the tailbone. And when I say drawing the belly in, I don't mean sucking your belly in. I mean more, think of knitting it in from your ribs. So just that you feel steady and firm through the center, that your musculature is strong. You can have insulation. Insulation's good. Good saving. Good. And then easy peasy, unwind. You can let the left leg or whatever leg come on down. And then standing back up towards the top of the mat. So we're going to continue to build on what we were doing, but then add on some. So just feel free anytime you want to kind of pause where you are, pause. Bend your knees, draw the arms up to the sky, chair. So here, twist, I'm twisting to the right only so the rest of my cues work, but you can twist whatever way you want to first. Twist towards the right. Now, think about really rolling your right shoulder up to the sky. Now, for those of you who are feeling fiery today, if you want to pull in a side crow here, you can start to bring your hands down, really hooking that left elbow, and then squeeze your left obliques to lift your feet. You could always sit on a block there. It's just as effective. And if side crow just makes you mad, do regular crow. Don't make yourself mad. Good, nice variations. Then when you're ready, take a moment. You can come to the center. You might even just want to stand tall. Sometimes it feels good to counterpose by stretching the opposite direction. And then come back to the center. Bend the knees. Draw the arms high. Now when you're ready to, you're just gonna twist to the left or whatever way you didn't already twist. If you are trying for the side crow, the right elbow is the one that's really important. Left one, just something to balance on if you want it. So you can bring your hands down, got to squeeze. Both elbows don't actually work well for me. And then think about right oblique, squeezing your legs, squeezing your core. Did you guys lose me? Because you're all, okay, there we go. You got it. And then when you're ready, come back to the center, draw yourself up tall, and then hands into the heart. Now, ultimately, the transition right now is to down dog. So whether or not you want to go through that whole process, bend the knees, draw the arms high, sink in, coming into Malasana. Oh, that's what I thought.